us today. Thank you so much for coming on to my channel. How are you doing today, Renee?
I'm fantastic. I'm happier now that I'm on with you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm going to be asking you a few questions. Is that all right?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Great. You do so many things. You wear so many hats. You are a sports reporter. You are an analyst. You are a model. You are an author. You are an anchor. You are a motivational speaker. I'm sure I'm missing a few other accomplishments. What type of work do you enjoy the most and why?
That is a great question, Anik. I love everything I do, and I think it all has different parts of it that are more fun than others. And also, I just love the fact that it allows me to meet great people like yourself. So I think for me, definitely sports reporting is at the top of that. Hosting shows, being able to have conversations. I think it's less pressure than a game. So like any types of game coverage, it's chaotic. There's a lot going on there. It's intense. There's, a lot of moving parts and people everywhere and just a lot going on. So being able to sit down and have a show where you can just chat like we're doing right now, that's more laid back and more conversational, like we're just chatting in your living room. I think those are definitely what I enjoy the most. Yeah.
I knew it. I knew you were going to be important.
Is that for you too? What do you enjoy the most? You have a lot of hats. What do you enjoy the most?
Like going on my YouTube channel. I love that a lot and playing video games.
Ooh, okay. I used to play video games.
I kind of get my knowledge from there too.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I'm sure are you a gamer too? A YouTube gamer? Maybe you do some streaming?
I do not do that, no.
Oh, who knows? Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. I read about you and I know you play soccer. Was that the sport you wanted to play growing up? Or was there any other sport you wanted to play growing up? If so, then why did you choose soccer?
Yeah, so I played a lot of sports growing up. I was fortunate that I grew up in a sports family. And so my parents played sports and they allowed my siblings and I to all play sports. And I tried every sport. And honestly, I was not good at every sport. There were some sports like softball. And that was actually the one I think I was probably the worst at, where I just was not that good at it. So soccer was the one that I enjoyed the most. And I was also the most talented at. And so I just found myself falling in love with it as I got older, more than any other sport. And it was the one that was so exciting that I just felt like I could play all day, every day. I wanted to play any chance I could in the backyard, in my living room, anywhere I could, with my siblings, with my friends, just anything became a goal or a soccer ball or a field. And so that passion and just loving what I did, just like you love your, being able to have your YouTube channel, that's what kept me going. That's what made me want to continue to get better, continue to work at it, and continue to learn more about soccer as I got older.
I hope you didn't break any glass when you were playing soccer in the living room.
Well, my parents definitely are happy that now they're allowed to have things around the living room that we don't break now that we're adults, but there were some broken things for sure.
Oh no. Are you planning to cover any NFL games this year? I'm excited about the season. Only 78 more days to go for kickoff, but who's counting?
I didn't realize it's that low. Wow, but it's so soon, and I love football. From tailgating to just the fact that there's another week of football this year. The season's a little bit longer than in the past. It's even more games to watch. So I'm very excited. I'm an Eagles fan. I think you are a Patriots. Who's your team?
Patriots.
I knew it. See, I pay attention too. I knew you were a Patriots fan. I'm an Eagles fan.
I thought you were a Commanders fan.
So I worked with the Commanders. So I was a fan in that sense, but I grew up as a fan of the Eagles. So the hard part sometimes being a sports reporter is that you have teams that you are a fan of, and then you have teams that you work with, and you have to try to toe that line to make sure that your personal doesn't interfere with your job. But yeah, that was interesting, especially since they're in the same division. It's tough anytime you're working with an opponent, but it was a great experience.
I also love basketball. Who's your favorite team? Wait, before you answer, let me guess. The 76ers.
So the Sixers are my yes and no. I am a LeBron James fan. So whatever team, not whatever team LeBron is on, that is my favorite team. But I am a Sixers fan. I did grow up going to Sixers games, and I was a big fan of like Allen Iverson. And when I was your age, my parents used to let me go to all the games, rock the jerseys, get autographs, and all that stuff. So I did grow up truly a Sixers fan, but I am now Team LeBron. Sorry. How about you?
I'm Team Celtics.
Oh, so how are you feeling after they lost in the finals?
Don't remind me about that. They should have won that.
Honestly, it was a great run. It's a shame that it ended the way that it did, but I feel like it was a good confidence booster that maybe the Celtics can learn from. I think they were a little bit of youth kind of showed up there and was the difference between them and the Warriors at times. So I know, I'm sorry. I was hoping it would at least go to 7 games. That was my hope for it.
I thought you were a Washington Commanders fan. How did you become a fan of the Eagles?
Yeah, so just like how you're a Patriots fan and a Celtics fan, I grew up going to games, watching games, especially living in New Jersey. We don't have obviously a team. So Jersey's kind of split where depending on where you live, some people tend to be New York sports fans. Some people tend to be Philly sports fans. And so my family's a Philly sports fan. So Eagles, Sixers, all the Philly sports teams through and through. And so I've just always enjoyed being able to go and just support. And honestly, Philly sports fans are so passionate. They are loud. They are crazy at times, but they're. I'm sure even you probably know a lot about that too. But we love our teams, and so we are really dedicated to following our teams.
If I was in New Jersey, I would go for the New York teams. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
What? Why would you choose the New York teams?
Because it's like closer than to Philadelphia, in my opinion.
You're right. It just depends on what part of New Jersey you live in. So like North Jersey is definitely a lot closer to New York. South Jersey, like where I live, I'm actually like 25 minutes from Philadelphia. So I'm closer to parts of Philly than I am parts of New Jersey. So that's part of it too. But yeah, it's the only tough thing is New York teams aren't, they're not as good sometimes. So Philly sports teams, at least they're good for the most part.
I like New York teams. I don't think they're that good. Giants and the Jets. I'm sorry. And I do not think they're good.
Me neither. So we're on the same page.
Yeah, that's good. Please share your success journey with us.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started off as an athlete myself and playing soccer. I played some professional soccer. I played at a very high level. I was actually just named to my Hall of Fame for my college recently. Thank you. I coached college soccer. And so I've always been involved in sports at a very high level. And after I was done, or as I was going through college, I should say, I started just trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. And my college degree was not in sports reporting. I studied something completely different. I studied public relations. And so I wanted to do more like marketing and advertisements types of things. And I just found what I liked and what I enjoyed the most. And I've always believed that in life, you've got to do what makes you happy, whether that's a job, but in all aspects of your life. If you're not enjoying what you're doing, then you're going to be miserable. You're going to be stressed out and you want to be laughing and having fun, just like we were doing before the show started. So I started making that move to get into sports because I love being able to have conversations, and sports are fun, right? It's exciting. You can scream, you can yell, you can cheer, you can laugh, you can dance, you can have fun with it. And I wanted to be able to have a job and a career that allowed me to stay connected to sports, be able to talk with people like we're doing, and like, like we love to do, and also be able to have fun with it while we're doing it. So that's like a quick version, but I've worked in every professional or college sport, from Major League Baseball to the NBA and WNBA, NFL. I've worked in Major League Soccer, college sports. I've even worked in racing. So like the really fast race cars that are loud and honestly have the racetrack shaking as they speed by you. I've been able to do it all. So I've been really excited and just enjoying my journey and my experiences, but it's led me to ESPN, which is where I am today, and working in a number of different jobs and wearing different hats, like you mentioned, but most importantly, doing what makes me happy.
I thought you were talking about like the running. And I was like, wait, what?
Oh, I've done that too. But no, like motorcycle racing and cars. So there are all different types of race cars. There's different shapes of cars. I've even worked with like monster trucks, which was insane, but it was such a cool experience. And even got to meet racers that were about your age, that were kids that were racing. So I didn't even know a lot about racing because I didn't grow up around the racetrack, but I learned a lot through it around being involved with like NASCAR and different races that I was able to cover about just how cool that side of sports is. Motorsports is what it's called.
I have a quick question.
Of course.
I'm not the best at this. I don't know much players at this sport. I rarely watch it. But who's your favorite hockey team?
I actually don't have a favorite team, and I think I'm gonna try to get one. But I know right now we're in the Stanley Cup Finals, and tonight is Game 4 of the playoffs between the Avalanche and the Lightning. So I've just been enjoying. I just enjoy watching sports. So I don't have a favorite team for every sport, and hockey is one of those sports where I don't have a team. I guess I would say the Flyers since they're the local team, but I definitely just enjoy. I should say I've been enjoying the Stanley Cup Finals. Have you been watching?
I don't watch hockey. Team.
Which sport?
Hockey.
Yeah.
I like the Bruins.
Ooh, okay.
I'm so mad about the time they got eliminated by the Hurricanes.
Yeah, it's okay. Your teams are doing okay and have done okay in the playoffs at least.
Patriots lost Tom Brady. They probably would have made it at least to the divisional round.
Probably.
Kept him.
Well, and then they lost him and he went and won a Super Bowl, which made it even worse. That was like, that hurt even more. But I believe Mac Jones and Bill Belichick have something going on very special in New England. I think they'll figure it out.
I think they're going to do better than last season, but not a Super Bowl team.
I agree. I think the Patriots will be a team that is kind of top in the division and definitely should be able to make some noise in the playoffs. I think last year was a good learning experience in that game. But I think that the future looks bright for the Patriots.
Hopefully. Could you please tell me about your memorable experience on the sideline of an NFL game? One day I want to be on the sidelines. So do you have any advice for me? How can I get there?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think football is a sport that you'd want to cover more than any other sport?
Of course.
Okay, I love that.
Number two is definitely basketball. Like if I can't get football, I hope I do. But if I can't get football, I'm gonna try basketball.
Yeah, and honestly, you could even do both. Doesn't have to be either or. That's possible too.
Yeah.
But back to your question, that great question that you asked. I think my advice, first of all, you're way ahead of the game because when I was your age, I had no idea I wanted to be a sports reporter. So the fact that you are at least knowing what you want to do, I wanted to be a lawyer, I wanted to be a vet, I wanted to be a doctor that worked with kids as a pediatrician, I wanted to be a professional athlete. So I wanted to do everything. And so I think one thing is just finding what you're passionate about, but also learning, as you're probably doing with your YouTube channel, every single interview, every single show, continue to try to get better, learning from yourself and learning from what you did before to try to find ways to be better next time. Okay, how can I ask this question or how can I prepare? But also just continuing to follow. Being a sports reporter doesn't mean you have to be an expert. You don't have to know every single fact and every single player or coach, but you should be able to talk about it. You should be able to talk about what's going on in the field and, different stories that are happening and things like that. So now when you're interviewing someone like Tom Brady after the Patriots beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and get a redemption win, then you can ask more questions, right?
Patriots, I just hope he can get a redemption win. That's all I want.
Yeah, and at the rate that Tom Brady's going, he might still be playing in the league when you're on the sidelines. So who knows? But no, honestly, it's about just continuing to learn and continuing to get better and not focusing on what everybody else is doing, but trying to find ways that you can get better as a sports reporter, because you want to make sure each day you're putting out your best interviews, questions, you're bringing that personality, that awesome personality that you have, to have fun with it and just enjoy it.
Thank you so much for coming on my YouTube channel. It's been absolutely my honor to have you with me. Please stay in touch.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. And like I said before, I'm so thankful that we had a chance to make this work, that I was finally able to get on your show. And I see what you're doing. I knew you were a Patriots fan. I see what you're doing. I see the great work you're doing. And the future is very bright for you. So don't forget me when you make it one day and you are in the NFL and I'm some old washed up reporter. No. But no, just kidding. Keep up all the awesome work that you're doing, and hopefully your summer is going really well too for summer break. So thank you.
It is. And thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you so much. And keep up the awesome work, kiddo.
Bye.
Bye.